Thank you for joining us. Today we are with Carlos Ramos with Ramos Mortgage. And we're here to talk about, mortgage industry in the Tampa Bay area. So thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
So, can you share what inspired you to join the mortgage industry, and how'd you get started?
Sure. Okay. So previously, I'm originally from Providence, Rhode Island. So I've been in Florida going on 23 years now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in my previous life, I was actually a milkman. So I was a
Really?
milkman delivering to supermarkets, not door to door, supermarkets. So I don't have 100 kids out there.
Right.
But
That's too funny.
so the company I was with, they were moving away. So like I was already driving 1 hour to work. They started moving. They were finding another spot that was 2 hours away. I just couldn't do it. So a friend of mine in Florida, in Tampa, my mentor got me into the business. He says, "Look, I'm looking for help. I'll teach the business from the bottom up." And then so it's just coincidence that my wife's family is in the Tampa Bay area. My friends are in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And
That
yeah, I
worked
just
out.
came here. Yes, I just came here and started all over and pretty much learned the business as an assistant,
Uh-huh.
just learning the ins, the outs, calculating the income, all this stuff to really understand what mortgage was about. Because honestly, before that, like my friends that got me into the business, I didn't even know anything about mortgages. He helped me buy my first house in Rhode Island and
Mhm.
just learn the business, trial and error in this business. Like a lot of downs and more than ups, but over the time, I worked my way up to where I am right now.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So obviously, we've been in Tampa Bay for our whole lives, also, and we've seen the ups and downs and the trends of Tampa Bay, and obviously with the recent hurricanes and interest rates. Like, how do you see like the housing market in Tampa?
Well, I mean, we're in very interesting times at the moment. So, depending on how long you've been in the industry, you said you guys been around for a while, so you understand. Like we had 2008, we had 2012. So just a lot of variations in the industry. It's like a roller coaster, of course. Where do I see it going? I honestly, from my experience, it's very difficult to answer that question right now because with the new administration in the government,
Yeah.
regulations, all this stuff, changes in your industry, in the real
Yeah.
estate side. But if I had to give my prediction, I don't see us getting into low sixes, mid to low sixes, or staying there, steady high fives, maybe till the end of the year. I really don't see that. I'm already seeing corrections in price of homes. I think sellers and buyers are finally realizing this isn't 2021 and they have to go with what we have right now because this is not changing. So I
You
think
have to
it's a,
Yeah.
adapt, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
we're finding the same thing. Is people are finally accepting that interest rate. It's the normal now. It
right.
is what it is, and if they want to take the next steps to buying a home, we can obviously kind of
Let's get
And
the
help
it's out of our
process
them.
started.
control. But it's out of our control. Like all three of
Oh,
us,
yeah.
we don't control the interest rate. We don't control how things work in the market. It's just
So
I
we're
think
all
people are
affected.
finally,
Yeah.
yeah, I think people are finally realizing that. Like you said, like I'm starting to see price reductions on houses. I'm starting to see buyers that were like last year would say, "No, I'm going to wait till rates drop into threes and fours." I'm like, "All right, you'll never buy a home then because we're
Right.
not going to see
Right.
that for a long time, if ever again." So I think this is the new norm that people are finally pushing forward, and they know that if things change in the future, they can refinance.
Sure. Yeah.
So they have that option as long as they're talking and getting good financial strategy from somebody like myself or somebody else in the industry to understand where we're at with the market.
It's
Yeah.
educating them, right? So and you're on
Yeah.
top of that. So that's yeah, for sure. Do you have any advice for any, first time home buyers, especially now at this time?
I do. I think right now a lot of people are afraid to ask. Ask the question, like ask me. They're just afraid of where like their job is going. Are they going to have a job? Are they going to get laid off? There's so much uncertainty right now
Yeah,
that I
both.
think it's scaring first time home buyers. And I feel that what they should really be doing is having a nice conversation with us. Like it's free to talk with us three right now. It's not like I don't charge a fee to talk to me about
We
credit
don't
report.
either.
and you guys don't either. That's the thing. So I think that,
No, yeah.
first time home buyer, yeah, if they're watching us right now, like this is the best time to at least, I look at it like this, like they're planting the seed of their future. So
Reserve.
you're planting the seed, you start at the foundation,
And it's like, putting your ducks in the row, right? You're just getting,
yeah,
you're
let's get
getting
ready.
started. Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you have a credit score of 500, who cares? That's where it's at right now, but let's work on where it's going to be when the time frame, because you saying you want to buy a house doesn't mean you're doing it right now. It may be a year from now. So, okay. So what we can do, what can us three do from now until that year mark? Can we help you fix your credit? Now, of course, the answer to that is actually no. That's really on them to fix their credit. Oh, we got a visitor. So, so if I was at home, my dog would be barking. So, so I think for a first-time home buyer, it's just not being afraid to ask. Say, hey, Carlos, look, I need some advice. Here's my situation. What can we do? And then we sit down, put a plan together, A, B, C, and D. And then, they sit down with you. Okay, here's our plan. And then as long as us three keep following up with them, checking up, make sure everything's good, and they're following the plan, then they can do that because there are down payment assistance programs available. Everybody just needs to know what the qualifications are for them.
And I think it reduces the stress level too when you have that kind of pre-planning and knowing what you need to do versus all at once and overwhelmed and not,
Exactly.
So it's like a buyer's consultation, right? And just kind of getting all out there and getting, started.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like there's a lot of with technology the way it is right now, and social media. So there's a lot of misinformation out there too. So a lot of buyers, first-time home buyers, should understand they really, until they actually sit down with one of us three, to not assume that everything they see on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok is real, legit. Because I've seen some stuff on social media that I'm like, okay, those guys are going to jail because like that's like false information,
Yeah, that's not good.
Nope.
Not good at all.
Does that help?
I think it's so important.
No,
it's important for them to have that discussion, to ask those questions, because as you're right, they don't know until they talk to the experts and they talk to us, on what steps they need to do to get started.
And I think part of it, people are also shy to ask or a little bit embarrassed to not know, but who would know this industry if you're not in it? You know what I mean? Like, just like you got into the mortgage industry, from the ground up and kind of learning as you go. So,
I didn't know. And that's the thing,
so there's
too.
So many options. There's just so many options out there is what it comes down to that people don't know about. So being educated and putting it out there and, through social media and following, you can get that information too.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of, like you said, like we were talking about, is like, as long as they ask us, because there's people that maybe having credit issues, bankruptcy issues, foreclosure, like you need to know the answers of when you can buy again or when the time is for you to buy again. Unless you ask those questions, we can't help you, So,
and there may be things they can dispute on their credit report even, and, or settlements paid. So yeah, it's really good to ask, let's see here. Any predictions? I think, Tony, we already talked about the predictions for Tampa Bay, right?
Fun time.
So how do you stay connected with the local community? Why is that kind of important?
I'm sorry, I got the light in my window. I think it's important for me. Like, I'll try to do community events, more like in the real estate community, see what's going on, talk to a lot of agents, hear what they're hearing while they're out networking, and watch the news. Unfortunately, I don't like to watch the news as much these days. A lot of it's just very negative, but anything that I hear regarding housing, I like to hear, see what's going on, whether it's Fox, CNBC, NBC, whoever. If anything pops up on housing, I like to keep my ears to the ground on that. And, other sites, Freddie Mac, Housing Wire, there's so much information that's out there for myself to actually try to keep abreast of what's happening in our industry, so I can relay it back to real estate agents or prospective home buyers, all that stuff.
Right.
So there's a lot of information.
Just really being on top of it. I really constant staying on top.
Yeah, I always feel you want to, it's so overwhelming. You want to digest that information and be able to explain it back to someone in very simple terms, a very simple, a very way that's what's relevant and important to them.
Yeah, yeah. It's because everybody's got questions. Where are we going? Like I get always asked the time, where do you think we're going? Like we asked earlier. Like everybody wants to know it. It's kind of hard to say because if I knew the true answer to that, I'd play Powerball and get out of the mortgage.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. So, yeah, you obviously service the Tampa Bay area. You have like what kind of programs do you like to cover, or I seem like the regular FHA, conventional, VA,
Yeah.
any other specialty programs, or
Yeah. So I can do loans anywhere in the state of Florida. I'm licensed for Florida, and then I have friends in other states that I can refer to. As for programs, I always describe it like this. Everybody likes vanilla. Well, can't say that except the lactose intolerant people. Vanilla ice cream. I'll use this as an example. So everybody has the vanilla ice cream, whether it's FHA, conventional, USDA, VA, jumbo loans. Pretty much every lender has those options available to them. And it's just going to be a matter of the sprinkles, the nuts that people like on that vanilla ice cream that will make everybody different. Like I could say I have a program called FHA Zero, which is a down payment assistance program where they take a grant. The 3.5% will be a grant. And as long as they make the mortgage paid on time, they don't have to pay back the grant. Now, this program is also similar to the Chinoa Fund, if you guys have heard of the Chinoa program. So that's a nice program that's available out there. Florida Bond is available. Hometown Hero will be back again in July. So we know that's going to be back. Hillsborough County has Home Sweet Home. So Pinellas has programs, Pasco. Each county pretty much has a program available. It's just a matter of searching to see what's going to be the right fit for that person, that client that's looking to get out there. We have jumbo products as well. So there's just a lot of variety of programs out there. We just have to drill down and see exactly what that person is going to want and need.
Like a match,
Yeah. Like Housing Wire came out with an article yesterday saying how much government-backed loans have increased in the last year or so. So there's a lot more people doing FHA loans right now and VA loans, mostly FHA. Conventional dipped in percentage. A lot of people are still doing conventional, but really FHA is really taking off. And I think it has a lot to do with the difference in interest rate. FHA has such a better interest rate versus conventional. Conventional rates are hanging in the low sevens, give or take, changes every day, where FHA is in the sixes,
Okay.
So I think once you see the payment difference, that's where a lot of people are sticking with. So
it's that payment difference. Yeah.
Yeah. That's obviously a very important factor, is that payment. Yeah.
It's the number one question I ask people, like, what do you want your payment to be? And it's kind of like everybody's so different. Like I had a lady tell me yesterday, $700. And it's like, okay, I don't know where we're going to look at that. We'll look at the numbers and see. But she was putting 20% down. There was like $100,000 house. So I don't know where she's going to find it, but I'm just saying, like, we have to look at those angles. And that's why I said earlier, the people that are finally realizing that they have to do it, because if they're looking at a $350,000 house, we're looking at over $3,000 mortgage payment, So I have to ask people, like, where do you think you're gonna pay? So, and I give an example, like if somebody's paying rent $2,000, well, they're only paying rent, they're not paying taxes, insurance, HOA, all that stuff. So I always tell people, add an extra $800 to $1,000 a month to what you pay for rent, to give you an example of what your mortgage payment should be, and I think a lot of people really need to see that, because we don't use all the income for qualifying purposes. That's another thing consumers don't realize. And I get a lot of, well, I make, and I'm sure you guys hear this too, is like, I make $5,000 a month. Why can't I buy a house? Well, because we don't use all the $5,000 for qualification purposes, where FHA uses 56% of that, conventional is 50% of that, So a lot of people don't realize, like, if we use 50% and it's only $2,500, that includes the mortgage payment plus car payments plus student loans. So there's a lot of factors that go into place. And of course, this time of year, I don't know when people will be watching this, but just so you know, this is February recording.
Yeah, I know, right?
So a lot of people are like taking their tax returns, and instead of putting it away, they're buying new cars and this and that. So there's just a lot of factors that people have to understand. I know I just went on a tangent all over the place.
No, I mean, it's a great tangent, because, we'll also make, this video also will be a short. And I think that little clip right there was amazing. A lot
All
of
right.
information. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Carlos's information will be in the description if you want reach out for any sort of more loan or mortgage needs.
Okay.
And thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thanks for having me.